Hello, and welcome to Pop Profiles, the show dedicated to unearthing the life stories of the world's most iconic pop artists. Today's show is all about a young lady whose killer tunes and outrageous outfits have made her into a global pop phenomenon. And she's still only in her early 20s. It is, of course, Rihanna.
There's nothing like her out there.
She's sexy, she's sassy, she's genuinely talented.
You know, men want to date her, women want to hang out with her.
She's born to be Rihanna.
So where did it all begin? Well, Rihanna was born Robin Rihanna Fenty in 1988 on the idyllic Caribbean island of Barbados. Come on, she's pretty cute. Famous for its rum and powder white sand beaches, little did they know one of the world's future pop greats and island ambassadors was among them. Growing up, Rihanna spent time in the Army Cadets, along with fellow future Barbadian pop star Chantel. Surely an inspiration for her music video, Hard. At school, Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey were two of Rihanna's idols.
There were definitely the people who motivated me to do this. There were the people who I idolized and looked up to and said, I want to be like them. I want to do that one day. I want to make videos like that. I want to make music. I want to have my own CDs. That started the dream, and it just went from there and became a reality.
Rihanna actually performed one of Mariah Carey's biggest hits, Hero, at the school's talent contest.
And then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on.
I still look at Mariah Carey and I'm like a fan. I still look at her and remember Visions of Love when I was repeating every line and every move in that video.
She looks like she really enjoyed being at that school.
I hated school. Even though I had a lot of friends at school, like, just the idea of having to go to school was the worst thing.
I guess not then. It wasn't long before Rihanna was noticed by producer Evan Rogers, who was on vacation in Barbados at the time.
We met Evan. That's where everything kicked off.
Evan had been heavily involved in starting up the careers of Kelly Clarkson and Christina Aguilera. Along with his producing partner, Carl Strucken, Evan then started work on Rihanna's first recordings.
I started my demo with him, and then we sent the demo out to all these labels, and Def Jam called back first. We met with them, and I had to perform in front of Jay-Z. He was the ultimate guy. I remember when I saw him coming down the corridor, I just started shaking, like freaking out. Then we finally went in, and I just put my game face on and pretended not to be scared.
Jay-Z was obviously convinced, as he signed her up right away. Super producing duo Stargate were brought in to work on Rihanna's debut album, Music of the Sun. The first single released was Pon de Replay. But Rihanna herself wasn't so sure about this song at first.
But when I heard it, it just sounded really childish and kiddie. You know, because I was listening to people like Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey, and that's what my idea of music was. Pop music wasn't really a big thing in Barbados. It was straight hip-hop, reggae, soca music, and diva music. That's why Pon de Replay was it was a culture shock for my ears almost. But I got into it, I recorded it, I gave it a shot, and then I fell in love with it.
The whole world then fell in love with the song, with it going to #2 in the US and the UK.
I have to say, I wasn't sure after hearing it that she was going to become what she is today. And I think, like, you saw the video and you see this cute little girl, and I think in a weird way blended in with the pop music girls that we had been seeing for so long.
It was a big summer sound, and what it said more than anything was one-hit wonder.
She could have been another Lumidi. One hit, summertime, reggae vibes, nice one. See you later. We'll still play the record for years at Carnival or wherever at some summer party, but we don't really care.
was all very sort of commercial and pretty and poppy.
But she just kept changing, found a way of crossing over and maintaining a standard in music that was very innovative for pop.
Personally, I was like, is this a one-hit wonder? Is she? I never thought she'd become this sort of force that she is today.
It was a blessing, you know, I was really excited. You know, Jay-Z pulled me aside and said, you know, this never happens, so don't expect it, don't get, you know, comfortable having hits, you know. He just didn't want me to be disappointed with the industry.
You know, I've never felt like this before.
I'm always thinking of how to get something else under my belt, how to go up a notch, how to get bigger, how to grow, how to be better as an artist, a person, a performer.
Got me calling out for help. Ask me, someone help me.
It's always a challenge to myself for me.
Why? Oh, you are me.
By now, Rihanna had produced a couple of killer singles, but she hadn't yet had a massively successful album to her name. But that was all about to change as she started work on Good Girl Gone Bad.
Rihanna, Good Girl Gone Bad. Take 3, action.
Good Girl Gone Bad was really just a turning point in my career where I got to let my hair down and just be myself and rock out and show fans what I was really made of. People just really got to see my personality a lot more.
Rihanna, where you at?
You have my heart, and we'll never be worlds apart. Maybe in magazines, but you still be my star.
That album really came together really effortlessly. It came together so quick and so naturally, and people enjoyed it a lot, and I think they enjoyed seeing me in a different light.
That was definitely true when the first single, Umbrella, was released.
Told you I'll be here forever. Said I'll always be your friend. Took an oath, I'ma stick it out to the end. Now that it's
Umbrella, I mean, that was a magic moment. And it was funny because Britney Spears and Mary J. Blige both turned that down. Gotta say, that song would have been a hit for any of them, but Rihanna really made it her own.
Umbrella is addictive. When it first came out, you couldn't walk into a corner shop without hearing it. And anyone who can make repetitive vowel sounds cool really does deserve a Grammy.
Fancy things will never come in between. You're part of my entity.
When I first heard it, I only knew how much I connected with it, how much I loved it, and how excited I got when I heard it.
Under my umbrella.
With the new album, Rihanna had incorporated a whole new sound into her music.
Please don't stop the music.
Well, Good Girl Gone Bad, I mean, Umbrella really helped, but then every other song that came off of it ended up being just magic. And again, she brought a very dark, sort of mysterious edginess to R&B, which was something that we hadn't seen at that time.
Gotta get my body moving, shake the stress away. I wasn't looking for nobody when you look my way.
I think with Good Girl Gone Bad, it was such a definitive album, and there was there's ballads, there was all these sort of like slightly aggressive anthems, and it was very like in your face, but you still saw that sweet girl that kind of she started out to be. And I think people forget how young she is because she has this sort of like demeanor, and she is sort of a force to be reckoned with.
Dance floor, acting naughty, your hands around my waist. Just let the music play. We're hand in hand, just to trust, and now we're face to face.
There are two facets to Rihanna, I think. The first is that she's astonishingly beautiful, yet she combines this kind of unattainable glamour with being actually quite down to earth. That combination makes her something to aspire to and to revere.
Well, Rihanna, I'm afraid we have to, because it's time for a quick break. But don't go away, because coming up in part 2, Rihanna really starts to put on the style as her music career goes into orbit.
Please don't stop the music.
Welcome back to the show. So Rihanna had cemented her status as a pop superstar with her third album. But just as things were going so well, one shocking night brought everything to a halt.
When we first found out about the Chris Brown situation, it was during the Grammy red carpet, and they made this huge announcement, and there was like a ticker thing across the bottom of the screen, and it felt like, you know, the country had gone to war.
I didn't believe it at first, and I said, there's no way this is true, and I remember calling her publicist, and her publicist was basically like, you know, can't talk now. Not a good time, and I knew something was up.
Take a breath.
I think Rihanna handled the whole Chris Brown incident with a lot of dignity. She didn't actually say anything about it for almost 10 months afterwards until she did a couple of big interviews with Glamour and Diane Sawyer. But ultimately, she turned a negative into a positive and an opportunity to give a really important message to millions of women that domestic violence shouldn't be tolerated.
After putting the Chris Brown incident behind her, Rihanna was soon back in the studio, recording the song Run This Town, working alongside Kanye West and the man who helped guide her career, Jay-Z.
Life's a game, but it's not fair. I break the rules, so I don't care. So I keep doing my own thing, walking tall against the rain. Victories within the mile, almost there, don't give up now. Only thing that's on my mind is who's gonna run this town tonight.
He is a mentor and a friend. Is always constantly giving me advice, guiding me, and he's definitely there no matter what. And he's really professional, really fun to work with, because he's really laid back, you know? He's a cool guy. He's genius when it comes to being creative.
It's the return of the God, peace God. It ain't nobody fresher, I'm in.
Jay-Z has been a huge champion of her, and of course brought in the best. He's really the one that she can credit more than anyone else with really bringing the best people in and help putting her together with the best people and saying, you know, this is something special.
Life's
a game, but it's not fair. I break the rules, so I don't care. So I keep doing.
The Run This Town video showed a tougher and sexier side of Rihanna, and she continued that trend when she released her 4th studio album in November 2009, the aptly titled Rated R. The video for Hard featured Rihanna rocking a military style, but helmets with Mickey Mouse ears are probably not standard Army issue.
Well, we saw that at a Jeremy Scott show, and we loved it. It was from an old collection of his, and we just always loved that helmet. It took a long time to get it. We barely had time to shoot the helmet, but I just begged him.
time to
For the song Russian Roulette, Rihanna was working once again with her old friend, Neo.
can see my heart beating.
I love working with Rihanna. Rihanna is she's family, you know. That's baby sis. You know, I'm just impressed with, you know, just the fact that I was allowed to be there and kind of watch her grow in this business. Like just recently, they played her first ever music video on TV, and it's like, I don't even know who that is anymore. You know, like looking at her in the Ponder Replay video and then looking at her latest video, it's like, yeah, she's definitely grown into, you know, an absolute woman and an absolute entertainer. And I'm happy to say that I was a part of that growth.
And you can see my heart beating. No, you can see it through my chest.
I literally had one conversation with Neo, and that song came back. And when I heard it, I connected with it immediately. Every verse, every bit of the song that went by, I grew closer to it. And I just loved it. You know, it was a risky thing to do, go out with such a dark record and a ballad too.
To me, Neo just does no wrong. It's like when Neo, there's something about Neo crafting these sort of very heart-wrenching ballads for female artists that is just another very magic, potent combination.
With the video for Rude Boy, Rihanna was really going all out with the colors and with her sexy new image.
Come here, rude boy, boy, can you get it up? Come here, rude boy, boy, is you big enough?
We had a completely different idea. We wanted to go to Barbados and shoot the video, and we wanted to shoot it on the streets and have it be really cultural, but we didn't have a lot of time. You know, it was so last minute and we had to get it done. So we just decided to do it in LA and build our own little thing, and we shot it on green screen, which was really, really weird because there was no set and no props, no atmosphere, nothing to vibe off of. It's just you and a big green room. We just had fun with it. We drank a little champagne, and it was just really cool to me.
Come here, rude boy, boy, is you big enough? Take it, yeah, baby.
I think that the new grown-up, sexy direction of Rated R definitely works for Rihanna, and it definitely works for me too. But really, it's just a continuation of what she was already doing. Rated R may as well have been called Good Girl Gone Badder. I think the song Rude Boy says it all. It's like a literal pop art video with a very Caribbean colour palette of red, yellow, green. It's like Bob Marley meets MIA meets Nena Cherry.
What you want, give it to me, baby, like boom, boom, boom. What I want is what you want, nah, nah.
I think Rude Boy is an amazing record. She works it. She is relentless in what she does.
Along with her videos, Rihanna's fashion statements and ever-changing haircuts have been winning her even more legions of fans.
Rihanna has definitely become a fashion icon, and it's like she's come a long way from this sort of like H&M, ripped jeans, tank top, halter top, girl from the Caribbean mode.
It was also a haircut. I mean, she was the first one to rock this very like short, edgy do. And her hair continued to keep her in the game. I mean, it was like hair after hair after hair after hair. I mean, you just saw this massive succession of very edgy, short haircuts, and she really brought that back.
She's able to not get swallowed up by these kind of crazy fashions. She commands them, and a few people can actually do that. Cher, I feel like, is maybe one of them, like back in the day with her like Bob Mackie.
It's another creative outlet for me, you know, they kind of go together, so. It's just natural. I love it. I have to be daring. Fashion is fearless. Fashion is exciting. It should be enjoyable and adventurous, and we should be able to take risks without worrying about what people are going to think, you know, if it makes you happy.
And just a year after Rated R was released, Rihanna was ready to put out another studio album called Loud. This is her fifth, at just 22. She kept her own hits coming when the first single from her new album, Only Girl in the World, was released and rocketed up the charts.
I mean, everyone slows down at some point. I mean, of course she'll have to slow down. Everyone does. But you know, this is the time.
I've been everywhere, man, looking for you, babe. Looking for you, babe. Searching for you, babe. Where have you been? 'Cause I never see you out.
Rihanna is the undoubted queen of the hit single these days, with 7 #1s to her name, and she just keeps cranking them out. So what could possibly be next for this new princess of pop?
I think she has a long ways to go, and she knows that, and I think that she won't possibly reinvent herself, like her sound as much, but I think she'll find like more consistency.
Musicians have to work harder now at touring and merchandising and endorsements and all the things that she's doing, because records don't sell anymore. Records are now, it's the opposite of what it used to be. You used to tour to support an album. Now you need to put out an album to support a tour. It's just flipped. So that's exactly what she has to do.
All we ever seem to do is fight. On and on.
And Rihanna certainly keeps a high profile by teaming up with super producer Calvin Harris, touring with old pals Jay-Z and Kanye West, and doing surprise collaborations with the likes of Coldplay. I guess we can always expect the unexpected.